Hey, this is Chris Gethard, and you're listening to Is That Your Kid? You better buckle up, man, because Todd and Jake, they're about to take you on a real ride.
Hey, welcome everybody to episode 6 of Is That Your Kid podcast with Jake and also Todd. And both Jake and Todd are coming to you live from one of the best establishments on the East Coast, West Coast, all coasts, Arby's restaurant. Arby's slicing up freshness every day. Very freshing view as you slip on this tasty between. Allow us to share with your philosophy on freshness. At Arby's, we believe that fresh slicing is great tasting. That's why each and every day we fire up our own slicers and get to work.
You just read that off my cup?
Yeah, I read it off your cup. They didn't really give me a prompt, so I just read it off the back of your cup.
Very refreshing view.
Yeah.
It's good.
So,
well, my beverage is refreshing, and my food was delicious.
Yeah.
I love Arby's. I found a new love for Arby's maybe just the past
year? Hour? Year. Hour. Yeah.
No, I've been thinking, in the past year, I've started frequenting Arby's a lot more than I have in the past, and I do enjoy it. Arby's, slicing up freshness every day.
I got the interest in Arby's roughly this morning, and they gave me a ring, and they said, why don't you do your little podcast from our establishment? And I said I'd be glad to.
Absolutely.
Arby's.
We jumped on that opportunity.
We'd be glad. So we're actually...
Let's talk about how many weird looks we've gotten so far. Well,
3.
We ate our lunch, and then now we're sitting here. We're at 3.
We have 3 weird looks.
And if you count the deadpan stare that I've been getting for the past at least 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Does that count as 4?
Yeah, that's roughly 20 feet away. There's somebody just... Because that was the
also,
second...
you'll hear the sweet jams. Go ahead. I'm listening to the radio. It's right above us. Hopefully you can hear it in the background.
Yeah, so that gives us a little ambiance, as they say.
Yeah. Little Bob FM.
Little Bob FM. So, Arby's Slicing Up Freshness, brought to you, actually, when you brought to you something by, Is That Your Kid brought to you by Arby's, or is it Arby's brought to you by Is That Your Kid podcast?
I'd say Is That Your Kid brought to you by Arby's.
Slicing Up Freshness. Fantastic. So this was our first on-site. It's weird.
There's commercials and everything happening.
I know,
back here.
because I feel okay talking at this volume, but the music was cutting down.
I don't think it's that much. We're okay.
Yeah.
Keep push forward.
Yeah. Well, I was talking, and then the music was actually cutting down, so I felt weird going over top of it.
I think it's
we're back.
I think it's whatever. I'm just gonna ignore all that.
But it's a busy week for us. We've actually spent the better part of 3 days with
hanging out off and on, I guess so.
Hanging out off and on. We got a lingerer over here on this side.
Pretty good. I mean, that's not bad.
So how
2 maybe?
Yeah, just kind of two people just kind of.
It's pretty good.
But
it's everything I could have hoped for, and
so
maybe
far.
more. Maybe more. So
I mean,
far.
when we said when we did the first episode, we wanted to do this. We're here.
Oh, someone liked their service. Did
Somebody
you hear
liked the service, but
they rang the Arby's bell.
There's nobody who likes their service more than us. Is That Your podcast?
That's true.
Arby's Slicing Up Freshness. Now, it is actually a big weekend for myself because today, and I'm wearing a wrestling t-shirt, that it's actually WrestleMania 30 weekend. Now, WrestleMania 30, I've been a wrestling fan for as long as I could remember, and even the times I do not remember. And Jake, on the other hand, is not like most people.
No, Jake, on the other hand, is like most people. when he doesn't enjoy it.
So it's a big deal for me. It's like the Super Bowl for professional wrestling. So I'm ecstatic today about that. And so what I thought would be cool to have a little WrestleMania rundown to start the show.
Oh. Okay.
Now, the WrestleMania rundown is I'm going to read the card, the matches, if you will, to Jake, and he's just going to give me his thoughts on who's going to win. I'm not going to give him any backstory, who the characters are.
Can I look at a picture?
You could, but unfortunately Arby's does not supply Wi-Fi to us.
They're not slicing up the Wi-Fi freshness.
Just slicing up the meat freshness, but there is no Wi-Fi here at Arby's.
So tell me who you have in your shirt. That's CM. I know that guy.
Yeah, CM
Punk. Okay.
Yes. He's
got lots of tattoos.
Yeah.
Not a lot of shirt.
Not a lot of shirt. And this is an ice cream bar. For kids from the 90s, you'll remember the wrestling ice cream bars that the ice cream man would bring around, and they'd have wrestlers on them, and you eat them like cookie,
it's ice cream.
vanilla, ice cream, and chocolate, and they were fantastic bars. I used to get them from the ice cream man, and this is him on his own ice cream bar. So
looking strong.
Very strong.
He's tough.
Like this.
I think he's tough.
Yeah? Do you think, knowing nothing about him, who do you think?
I do know that he's straight edge.
Yes.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, that is,
I know that.
Mm-hmm.
So he doesn't do any drugs or alcohol.
No, nothing.
But is he a bad guy in the wrestling world?
The majority of his career he's been.
Interesting.
The majority of his career.
So he respects his own body, but just not anyone else's.
There you go.
Okay.
See, you got it.
Okay,
you
CM
got
Punk,
it.
that's it.
But WrestleMania 30, he's not part of WrestleMania 30 as he's not currently employed by any wrestling company or promotion.
Vigilante? Free agent?
He's a free agent. He's not in any wrestling promotion at this point. But, so what I'm going to do is, I'm going to read you the card, and in your own head, just tell me what do you think's going on with these guys,
Okay.
and tell me who you think's going to win. So, the first match that's on WrestleMania 30, we have The Shield. In The Shield, we have Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns. They're The Shield.
That's their team, like their team name?
Their stable name, yes. The Shield.
Stable?
Stable, yeah.
So they are like cattle and horses that you just,
No.
go fight.
No,
Just go and fight each other.
So we have The Shield versus Kane and the New Age Outlaws. So it's a 6-man tag match, single fall finish.
Oh, 6 guys fighting all at the same time. 3-on-3?
3-on-3, yeah.
In a cage.
No. Not everything's... See, that's the thing about wrestling fans. They think every match is a cage match.
Well, if there's like 6 guys bouncing around, like, what do you...
Well, there's 2 people in the ring at the same time.
Oh, okay, so
and
it's
then you tag out.
Okay, alright.
So The Shield versus...
But they never play by the rules anyway.
Or do
They're always taking cheap shots. The guys on
they?
the outside. No one does it real. Anyway.
So The Shield versus Kane and the New Age Outlaws.
Dean Ambrose was the guy, one of the guys in Shield.
Yeah, he's in The Shield.
He sounds really strong.
Mm-hmm.
So I do know who Kane is. So who am I picking
To win.
I'm deciding the winner.
Yeah.
So the Jake bracket. I'm gonna go ahead and say that Kane and his crew, his posse, are gonna
The New Age
take
Outlaws.
that. Dean Ambrose, I think he's younger, right?
Yeah.
A younger wrestler.
Here's the thing. I won't confirm or deny, but if you ask, I'll answer the question.
Okay. Everything I know about wrestling is through you, so
Mm-hmm.
if I recognize some of these people, that might help. But I think Kane's a veteran. That has no bearing, but he's obviously, if he's been around, he's a fan favorite. So I'll go Kane.
On the
Kane crew.
On the grandest stage of them all, WrestleMania 30, you think that experience is really going to take Kane and the New Age Outlaws?
Over youth.
Over youth. Okay, so Kane and the New Age Outlaws is your pick. And then next week we'll come back to this and see how many
We'll
you got
see
right.
how many I got right. That'd be interesting.
Okay, the next match listed here is John Cena versus Bray Wyatt. B-R-A-Y space
Is this one of the featured?
W-Y-A-T-T. Bray Wyatt versus John Cena.
Does Bray Wyatt have braids?
No.
Does he have long hair?
Yes.
That could help him a little bit.
That could help him.
I think that's going to help a bit, but John Cena has those jean shorts.
And everyone knows him if there's one that everyone knows.
He's that guy, invisible guy. That's how he always wins those matches, because apparently everyone says that they can't see him.
No one can see him.
So he must be invisible. Just because I'm playing the rules, and last WrestleMania, didn't you say he lost?
Just for a second. Do you hear that? Smash Mouth is playing. Like, give it a little.
Let's have a break.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Going forward, by the way, if you're just tuning in, we're live from Arby's in White Oak. Arby's slicing up freshness. But back to what John Cena versus Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania.
Because he never loses, and because I think he may have lost a big match last year,
Okay.
he's going to win. John Cena is
John
going to win.
over Bray Wyatt.
The long hair did help a bit, but in the end, I think it's just going to be fan favorite.
Okay.
That one.
So John Cena is a fan favorite in your eyes, and Bray Wyatt is not, right?
I mean, no one's my favorite.
Okay.
Easily, but
No one
publicly,
has
John
a-
Cena might be.
Okay. Okay. The next match is a little interesting. It's a four-way tag team match. So there's 4 tag teams, and they're competing.
And they each have 2 guys on their tag team.
Yes, yes. And they're competing for the WWE World Tag Team Championships. So these are the teams. Jimmy and Jay, the Usos, who are the champions. The Usos versus Los Matadores versus the Real Americans versus Rybaxel. Now Rybaxel, they're named Rybaxel because the two Ryback and Curtis Axel.
And if I remember correctly, Ryback is just absolutely enormous. Is he just incredibly huge?
Sort of, yeah. Very
he
muscular.
did like kick fighting or kick fighting.
He was a kick fighter.
Kickboxing or like just boxing in general before he was, or MMA or something before he was here. Well, he's a giant alien shaped man who's way too big. So right off the bat,
the Usos.
Wait, what Usos? Now this might be offensive, but what ethnicity are they?
They are Samoan.
That's awesome. See, I want them to win, not because, but
well, they are the champions.
Oh yeah,
they are the current champions. Jimmy and Jay, the Usos.
Predictability. I'm being predictable.
So we got the Usos, Los Matadores, the Real Americans, and Rybaxel. And the Usos are the champions here.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that the Usos are gonna set it up to win almost. But Ryback's gonna come and they're gonna turn it around.
Okay, so Rybaxel is your pick.
Ryback never does tag teams though, does he? He might not be a team player.
I mean, are you retracting your statement?
This barely is anything to me.
So Rybaxel and okay, we'll go forward with that.
Entering that submission in.
Okay, now this one is a very interesting competition, and it is Andre the Giant 30-man. It's a memorial because Andre the Giant is no longer with us, and seeing as though it's the 30th year of WrestleMania, they are doing a 30-man Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, and the winner of this Battle Royal will win a Andre the Giant trophy to carry around him. And so there's 30 men in one ring.
All in just fighting. Just someone. They're all just picking someone and fighting.
What? 30-man Battle Royal. The last one in the ring
Isn't it
wins.
Royale?
Sure, Royale. Battle Royale.
I like that better.
Okay. So you don't have to pin anyone. You just have to throw them out of the ring. So the last one in the ring wins the Battle Royal, 30-man. And
are they all 30 dudes stuffed in the ring just at the same time?
And then the last one in the ring wins.
Unbelievable. That's okay. All right. Just go down the list and I'll pick my favorite sounding name.
Okay. Okay. The headliners of this. Somebody has a fantastic meal at Arby's. Arby's slicing up freshness. Intercontinental Champion Big E, Dolph Ziggler, Fandango, Alberto Del Rio, Damian Sandow, Titus the Real Deal O'Neil, Christian, Sheamus, The Big Show, Mark Henry, Heath Slater, Jinder Mahal, Drew McIntyre, Cody Rhodes, Goldust, Kofi Kingston, The Miz, Brodus Clay, Mr. No Days Off, Darren Young, Justin Gabriel, Rey Mysterio, R-Truth, Santino Marella, The Great Khali, Zack Ryder, Sin Cara, Brad Maddox, and 3 more entrants not yet named. So secret entrants, there's 3 of them.
Well, they're not gonna be anything. I know that the 2 biggest guys that I remember seeing just from my
out of those
osmosis experience from you and Mike, the Metrovich.
Yeah.
let's see. Mark Henry or Big Show?
Mark Henry or Big Show?
Because they're the two biggest guys that I think you read. Can you confirm that?
Yeah. Yes.
Absolute biggest, tallest guys.
Well, not.
Well, Mark Henry's not very tall, but he's large.
Yeah, he's very big.
Large.
Very big.
I'm gonna go Mark Henry.
Mark Henry.
Big Show's taller than him. But Mark Henry, I think in terms of mass,
When,
Mark Henry might take it.
Okay.
Because it is the Andre the Giant.
Right.
So I don't think
you're
like
getting it.
a little Rey Mysterio guy will be doing very well.
Or would that be the ironic part if a little man
Super
was the
tiny
giant?
guy.
See, there's a story right there. It's the little man wins the giant battle royal. But when the Big Show was first introduced to in WCW, he did a run in WCW. He was billed as Andre the Giant's son, but it was only a storyline son, and they've since dropped that.
So he doesn't have a son anymore, or they don't talk about it.
Well, he was Andre the Giant's son via storyline, but they had since dropped that.
Oh, he's definitely not going to win then.
So, well, you said Mark Henry.
That's what I mean.
Okay, so Mark Henry is the winner of that.
I'm looking at a license plate and it says 5 times mom.
Where do you see that? Oh, yeah, I do see that.
She's a mom 5 times?
Yeah,
Like 5 children?
5 times.
I see a dog on their bumper sticker.
Maybe she has 5 dogs. 5 dog mom?
She's raised 5 whole
I mean,
pups.
there's a great chance she's probably 10 feet away from us right now.
No, I hadn't thought about that.
Scope the room. Do you see anybody?
No. Everyone at this point is steering very clear of us.
So we've got, what, 4 bad looks so far?
Yeah.
4 bad looks. Okay.
I say weird looks, maybe not bad. And 1 stare. 1 pretty good stare.
Oh, that stare was incredible. You mean that guy that was he's now gone, so he could say, but he was over there. He was just
Very staring.
what some people would call mean mugging, right? If you mean mug
Perhaps.
someone, mean mugging.
That's as close as I can get to a mean mug.
But Arby's slicing up freshness. We are so happy to be with Arby's today. We've got some coupons for weeks to come.
Don't forget, stop in at Arby's and check out the snack and save menu. 13 items from $1 to $2.99.
Great.
There's a lot of items there.
Great
Those
value.
including fries, Mighty Minis, one of my very favorite sandwiches here from Arby's. You get 2 little sandwiches, some weird caramelized onion stuff,
Right?
real good.
Right on it.
That includes even desserts, a
Yep.
turnover,
A turnover.
onion rings, roast beef sandwiches.
13 items.
We're talking 13 items, folks.
13 items.
$2.99 or under.
$2.99 or under, and even people who live in McKeesport could afford that. And I think that's why they're doing quite well here. So it's fantastic that we're coming to you live from Arby's. So far, to take a look at WrestleMania, what we have is you have the New Age Outlaws and Kane defeating The Shield, John Cena defeating Bray Wyatt,
Easily.
Ryback
Taking that.
taking the titles
Tag
off the
team.
Usos, Mark Henry winning the over-the-top Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal.
Is that it? Is that the
No.
last one? Oh, is there
No.
the suitcase thing?
There is no suitcase thing this Royal Rumble. Money in the Bank, you mean?
Yeah, there's like a suitcase thing. It hangs and they have to get it.
Yeah.
And everyone's incapable of climbing that ladder. I could do it in about 2 seconds flat, and they just take their time with
12
it.
minutes. 12 minutes to
Goodness
climb the ladder.
gracious.
So we are looking at one of the billed as one of the biggest matches this year in WrestleMania, The Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar.
He's the fighter guy that I'm
He's
thinking
the
of.
fighter fella. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the guy that I was
Undertaker
thinking of before.
has undefeated streak at WrestleMania. Has never been beaten at WrestleMania, and he's taking that streak against Brock Lesnar.
I
Will the streak
don't
be
know.
beaten? Jake the Angel Boy Zerme.
that'd be a great wrestler name. I come out,
Mm-hmm.
all oiled up.
All completely.
Would I be tan or like?
Whatever you want.
Well, if you were my producer, what would you make?
Completely.
How would you make my image? We'll get back to that. I like that.
Okay.
If you were my wrestler,
Okay.
like producer, manager,
Okay.
how would you present? Okay, we'll get back.
Okay.
I like that.
Okay.
Brock, see, you put me in a tight position because this guy, obviously, it's like, oh, is he going to win again and keep his undefeated streak, or is it just going to
Yeah.
be an upset and be
Yeah.
like, oh,
Right.
new guy,
Well, he's on.
Not new.
Yeah, but could somebody
easily. He's very large.
put the Undertaker at rest.
Undertaker's old.
Mm-hmm.
What's his story? Is he like undead?
At times, depending
Sometimes
the
he's dead?
storyline. Yeah.
That's silly. But cool. See, I know that name. That was even when we were kids.
I mean-
I remember that name.
Yeah. Future Hall of Famer. Future Hall of Famer.
I don't know. This is a tough call.
Undertaker
Tough call.
versus Brock Lesnar.
I went predictable the whole time, so I'll go for upset this time. Brock
Ooh,
Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar. And how do you think Brock Lesnar is going to defeat Taker?
Punching. Because I don't think he knows a lot of wrestling moves. I think he just punches a lot.
Okay.
He just beats guys up.
You really look at him as a puncher.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now this match is an interesting caveat to this match here. The next match on our card, the winner moves on to the main event. Okay.
I thought you just had the whole intro talking about how WrestleMania was the main event.
Well, the WrestleMania is the name.
What?
WrestleMania.
But it's
is the
WWF, right?
Yeah, WWE. Yeah, WWE WrestleMania 30, and these are the matches.
Okay.
Okay. So the winner of this one, they go on to the main event, which I'll be talking about the main event in a little bit. But it puts up Triple H versus Daniel Bryan.
Dan Bryan's new in the last 5 years, isn't he?
Yeah, Daniel
He's got
Bryan.
short hair, I bet.
No, formally, but now he has a long beard and long hair, but formerly short hair.
I don't know. Which guy wears more clothes?
Arguably speaking, neither.
Man. Because I was going to let that decide.
No. But,
So just knee pads,
neat.
underwear, and elbow pads, is it?
Yes, completely
And
straight.
tattoos.
Neither tattoos.
Interesting.
Daniel Bryan was a
Who's
vegan.
Vegan.
He was, in real life.
That's good.
He's
Then
a great in-ring mechanic.
you can't build up proper muscle mass without, some meat protein.
Maybe. But he's arguably the best in-ring mechanic in the WWE right now.
Mechanic?
Yes, in-ring mechanic, Daniel
So he
Bryan.
understands the rules of the game?
Yes, and
What
he's
you
very
mean,
good at them.
Defending the rules? Does that mean Daniel Bryan is a good guy?
Daniel Bryan is a good guy.
And Triple H, he's a heel.
Yes, he's a heel. So Daniel
So I
Bryan.
think, is this in order? Is this all going to happen in the same night?
Yeah. Why would I be talking about something?
That's a lot of matches.
It's like 3.5 hours.
Well-
the show.
All right. Well, we went with the upset.
Daniel
Triple
Bryan.
H has been around for a while.
Daniel Bryan.
Against
And-
Daniel
and-
Bryan.
And again, the winner goes on to the main event.
There's another one after this.
Yes, there's one more after this.
Okay. You know what? Sure. Okay. Daniel Bryan. I'll just call it.
Daniel Bryan going over.
I'm writing these down.
Yes, so we could talk about them next week. So how do you think Daniel Bryan is going to defeat Triple H here?
I think he's gonna get kind of Dragon Ball Z, get beat up a whole bunch,
Okay.
and then get his second wind and come back and take it.
The second win is
Like,
going to...
Triple H will barely be touched the whole match. It'll be like Triple H is just going to beat up Daniel Bryan pretty much for the duration of the match. And then, inexplicably, he's going to get a second win. And
Okay.
just in a few moves, seal the deal. Does Daniel Bryan have a signature move that everyone's like, yeah, do
He has
the
a few.
double twist hoppy
He has
squat?
Yeah, he does the double fist hoppy squat. I've noticed throughout this that there is a thing that you think wrestling is punching based. Like if you have punches, everything is punch based.
Yeah. Well, that's how you win in the video games.
Yeah, punch, kick, pin.
Well, they taught me wrong.
So,
Unbelievable. Your Uncle Craig and Jen just came in.
oh my God.
Your Uncle Craig and Jen just came in. And we're waving to them now?
Oh, this is going
They waved back and now they're going to order
This
some
is
food.
going to get weird.
That's
Ladies
awesome.
and gentlemen, my sister and my uncle Craig have entered the building.
Awesome.
On the podcast. This was not planned. What do we do here?
Should I go offer them some coupons?
Yeah. Arby slicing on Freshness. Go ahead and offer them coupons.
What's next? What are we doing next, Todd?
Well, we'll talk about the main event. We'll talk about that.
Hey, why don't you introduce the main event? Because I'm barely going to listen anyway.
Okay. So when you
I'm going to go give them these coupons.
see if they're like,
What?
getting it to go. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're here at Arby's Slicing Up Freshness. Jake has went to give some coupons to my relatives, and maybe they will take those meals to go. Oh, he's coming back already, so that's not a good sign.
Okay, I'm back.
So what's the deal?
I didn't ask.
Oh,
I just gave him the coupons.
All right. For the WrestleMania main event, this is the big one, the big match at the end.
This is after another night.
No, same night.
So how do they fight in a match and then fight another match?
Well, this is not always. There's only one person who fights two matches in this whole thing. So it takes WWE World Heavyweight Champion Randy Orton versus.
He's like one of your favorite, or was.
No,
not anymore.
Versus
Maybe I'm just wrong.
Batista versus Daniel Bryan. So it's a triple threat match. All three men in the ring at one
How's
time.
Daniel Bryan gonna get beat up? Because he will get beat up and then go on. Or Triple H.
There you go. See, now you're getting it. How are they going to do that?
They're not.
Okay, so it's Randy Orton, the champion, versus Batista versus Daniel Bryan, main event of WrestleMania 30.
I think Undertaker will lose, but Randy Orton will keep his title.
Undertaker's not in that match.
No, but I'm talking.
So Randy Orton.
In terms of keeping your title, Undertaker will lose, and then
so Randy Orton walks in. Randy Orton walks in, the champion.
Fresh as a daisy.
We'll use some of your coops, thanks.
Okay.
No problem.
So Randy Orton walks in, the champion, and is going to walk out of WrestleMania 30, still the WWE World Heavyweight Champion.
I think so.
First. All right. It is actually cleared out in here.
Well, it's now 2:15, not lunchtime for most normal people. Nothing against Uncle Craig and your sister.
Yeah.
But everyone's pretty much done with lunch.
Yeah. So
we've
made it so far. We've made it so far.
5X Mom is still here.
And so the quick rundown, which we'll be going over next week, WrestleMania 30. We have Kane and the Outlaws winning, John Cena winning, the Usos retaining, Brock Lesnar winning, Daniel Bryan winning.
No, the Usos do not win.
Oh, I'm sorry. We have Kane and the Outlaws winning, John Cena winning, Ryback, Brock Lesnar, Daniel Bryan, Mark Henry winning the Battle Royal, and Randy Orton walking in and out of WrestleMania as champion.
That's it.
Does that sound about right to you?
Yeah.
Okay, so as you remember last week, what we were going over, we were talking about the scavenger hunt, and today we have the opportunity to end that scavenger hunt. Our first, I guess, ongoing bit of the show, which started out in episode 2, is the scavenger hunt.
We talked about it in episode 1.
We did.
Put it into action with episode 2.
Right.
And this is it. This is the final thing.
And so to go over what we've done in the scavenger hunt so far, we are both tied at 41 points. Now the scavenger hunt is the list of objects that we bring in. They have a point value. And the first one to 50 points or over wins. And the point values to what we brought in so far, hubcaps are 5 points. Oldest photograph is 10 points. Clothes Scotch tape roll of any kind, 3 points. Matching baby clothes outfits, 10 points. Audio of someone screaming the loudest, 8 points.
Longest. It's never loudest.
I always mess that up. Longest, 8 points. Old political campaign sign, 5 points. Something you created when you were under the age of 10, 6 points.
Which you neglected to say last week.
That was on there. That's been on there.
Man, episode 5, you didn't review that one.
I forgot to.
Well,
and then
I
of
should
course
have written them down myself, so it's only mine.
and then the deflated sports ball, which would be 5 points.
This would be 5.
So, hey. And so we have 41 points apiece. That's correct? Okay. All right.
I think I'll go first.
Okay, you go first. Introduce that.
I brought in a deflated sports ball, and it is a Wilson basketball. This has got a story behind it.
Okay.
A very violent story behind it.
Favorite deflated sports ball so far, by the way.
And he
it's
doesn't even know the
fantastic.
story.
It's fantastic.
He doesn't even know the story.
No, go on.
This red and black Wilson basketball was killed by a Mack truck. That's it.
Gasp.
It was run over by a Mack truck.
How do you know that?
Anonymous tip.
Wait. Do you know? Did you set the ball up to be ran over?
I
by
did
a
not.
truck?
In fact, earlier that day, the ball was seen actually being played with as a basket bouncy ball. Later that same day, it was smashed to smithereens in a very loud explosion.
Yeah.
And that's it, by the Mack truck.
So with that deflated sports ball, that puts you at 46 points. Because you had 41 points plus
Six points, that's 47.
47 points. That's my lucky number. And also, if you guys want to hack into most of my emails in my Facebook, the number 47 is in those passwords, so get on it.
Challenge to everyone listening.
My bank pin, think of it.
Just try to get into it.
Try to get into it, knowing that. And so Jake sits at 47 points.
Yep. With
All right.
deflated sports ball, we'll put that picture up. We're not at our table, so we can't tap it on the table.
We can't tap it on the table.
We'll have to do
so
it
is
when
it
we go home.
official, folks?
Can we just do it here?
We could. So Jake sits at 47 points. Now, the reason why I want to do the scavenger hunt right after this is because something that I did when I was a little kid is I would record and Jake has heard this before, I would record myself on cassette tapes interviewing wrestlers. But the wrestlers were played by my grandfather. And I would play the commentator, and I have since uploaded those to YouTube. So I'm going to introduce into the mix something you created when you were under the age of 10, a YouTube video of my grandfather and I I'm trying to think, I was 8 years old, you do the math, I'm 26 now, but he played the character of Yokozuna, who has an accent that I don't know where it's from, but I play the high-pitched, high-voice person that interviews him. So we will insert that.
Roll it.
About Yokozuna big matchup with Lex Luger. Now Yokozuna, I've been watching you all my life, but where are you from?
Hi, Yokozuna. I am from Tokyo, Japan. I was born in Nagasaki, and I moved to Tokyo because it's a bigger city.
Now how did you get so big?
I eat a lot of fish heads. Fish heads have lots of protein, and I'm on a diet strictly fish heads.
But if you're on a diet, how you get bigger and bigger?
Well, I drink a lot of sake. You know what sake is?
No, I don't.
Sake is like moonshine over here. I drink a lot of sake. I drink maybe a gallon of sake and 25 fish heads. Every time I sit down to eat, that puts a lots of bulk on me. So that's why I'm weighing 520 pounds.
Well, how about this matchup with Lex Luger?
I have been waiting for this matchup for a long, long time, and Lex Luger is in for a big surprise. You think that Pearl Harbor was a surprise? This is going to be a much bigger surprise.
Okay. And we'll see you next week with more with the 1, 2, 3 Kid.
Okay, so that was the interview.
Pretty good.
I mean, what do you think about that? Do you think that my interviewing skills were up to par when I was...
Maybe not where they are now, but who knows.
They were better.
I've heard these before.
Yes.
I've heard these before.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very cool experience that you got to do that with your grandfather. And I'm glad you uploaded them to YouTube, because then you can always just go back and look at them.
Right, so
But these were on cassette originally,
Yeah, they
right?
were on cassette originally.
That's pretty cool.
And that would be...
It's always good. There's a lot of those, if I remember.
Did you just hear my phone go crazy?
Yeah, weird.
Nothing important on it.
Yeah.
But-
You have a lot of those.
so-
At least 3 of those?
Yeah, 3 of
recordings?
those, but just the one.
Okay.
It's what I'll play. I actually have one that maybe down the road we could take a look at, but Bon Jovi actually becomes champion in one of the recordings where my grandfather plays Bon Jovi, and I interview him as Bon Jovi. And also I brought, and I guess this is something that I had found.
You're such a snake, man.
Yeah?
Yeah. 12 hours ago, you're like, yeah, I don't have anything.
Well, I didn't.
I don't have anything. Yeah, because you forgot to mention the creations.
Hey, keep it down.
Come on,
We're
man.
in public. We're in public
I got
here.
a real sweet hamburger made out of clay sitting right on my desk that I could have brought in.
Well, I mean, it's over now.
I forgot about it.
But we are in White Oak, Arby, slicing up freshness. So you need to calm down your freshness over there.
Oh, I'm real fresh.
You don't need
You're
to get
opening up fresh
right now.
wounds here with this. Now I'm gonna call it a scab hunt because these wounds aren't gonna heal overnight. This treacherous
Scavenger hunt.
scab.
Well, scars don't heal. Scabs do heal.
But they leave scars.
They-
Todd.
So
leave
scavenger
scars.
hunt.
And you're picking the scab right off.
Now, what I have in front of me, the first thing I wanted to as a little kid is I wanted to be a writer. So I would write these strange stories, science fiction and horror. And speaking about Goosebumps, which by the way, I finally gave Jake Monster Blood. So Jake will have Monster Blood read.
For the next.
Yes, for probably next week. We will see. But this is called, right in front of me, and we'll put this on the Tumblr, which is isthatyourkid.tumblr.com to check this out. This is called A Night in Werewolf Woods 2 by T.G. Tondera.
What's your middle name?
Gregory. So I wrote this in creepy font.
It's drippy.
It's
drippy.
drippy.
Goosebumps font. It's pretty good.
And I will give
The
it...
cover page is a completely different color than all the other pages.
Yeah, the cover is fantastic.
I see. It's. I can't help but notice, Todd. It's in all capitals. It's in all caps.
Yeah.
Is it like that way the whole way?
Yeah. It's like...
Are you gonna read it or can?
I'll let you read it because I know what
way,
it says.
yes.
I know what it says. But so this is an 8-year-old Todd wrote this. It's called A Night in Werewolf Woods 2 by T.G. Tondera, and it says Goosebumps on the front, obviously an ode to R.L. Stein. And so you could go ahead, and it is in all caps. So you could go ahead and get through chapter 1.
Just chapter 1?
Well, I mean, you could read it all if you'd
All right.
like.
Maybe
but
it can be an addendum. An addendum maybe later on.
Mhm.
Paul and I were reading a book. It
This
was
is
called
chapter
The
1.
Cat That Could Fly. It was boring. Big deal, I said. We wanted a real adventure. The next day, we saw a guy that looked like P.J. Brown. You know, the Nets guy. We went over to him. He said, "Hi, dudes. Give me $400 and you got tickets to the Nets game." With okay. So we had our tickets. We hurried home. He said, "Be there at 7." And it was 6:57. We had 3 minutes. We
I
got
wrote
dressed
this.
and I met...
I wrote all
know
of this.
that. You just did that.
I wrote this.
And met outside. Paul went one way and I went the other. I told Paul, "Come this way. It is a shortcut." We went into the woods. We saw a werewolf. We started to run. It had yellow eyes, a big nose, and a scar on its left eye. "Todd!" Paul screamed. He showed me his watch, and it was 7:07. It's interesting that even throughout the werewolf,
Yeah.
even throughout this werewolf stuff, Paul is still concerned about the Nets tickets.
Yeah. He was...
It's 7:07, and still the werewolf was on our tails. But this big hairy four-eyed snake, I noticed, and the werewolf turned and saw it. They chased each other, so we could not find our way back to the game, and it was almost over.
Yeah.
We had ran back
I wrote
the
this.
way we came, but we weren't meant to go right. We went left. So we met a werewolf again, but it did not have a leg or a head. It was just sitting there. We thought it was looking at us. It was creepy, so we walked away.
Creepy is in the creepy font, by the way.
Do you like that bit I did?
Yeah.
We walked for about 5 minutes. We stopped, and I said to Paul, "Who's okay?" What he said. "You know, P.J. Brown told us that you got us tickets to the Nets game with okay." He told me I don't care. What? I said, "You don't care?" "Yes, I don't care." "Fine." And that's chapter 1.
That's chapter 1. Do you want to go on chapter 2?
You know what? I don't think that was that long.
Okay, finish it. Yeah, finish it up. This is
Can we skip to the end?
for those new to the podcast. This is a Night in Werewolf Woods 2 by T.G. Tondera, a story I wrote when I was 8 years old, based
Wait.
on the Goosebumps novel, A Night in Werewolf Woods. So continue. This is, I mean, this
You
was
did this when you were 8.
8 years old.
Under 10. You're saying
Under
you were in
10.
2nd grade.
I was in 2nd grade.
And this is what Night in Werewolves 2. There was that leads me to believe that there was a Night in Werewolf
Woods 1.
1.
Yeah.
All right, chapter 2.
Right?
A Night
So
in Werewolf
I think
Woods
we're
2.
just there 5.
Yeah,
We're
no,
just
I
there
think
5.
we're good. Maybe. If you get in trouble, it's not my fault. Watch out, a monster. Huh? Where? See, I told you, won't help, so
I love
you
that
got
you're
me.
projecting your voice as you read it.
He ran away, and about an hour later, he could call me on a payphone. Hey, Todd, he yelled. I told you I will find my way out. The game is over, and the Nets lost. Total score of the game, Golden State, 123.
I grew up
New
a basketball
Jersey,
fan, so this is like part basketball, part horror.
New Jersey,
you know?
122. So they lost by 1 point.
Yeah, they did.
That's a very high score for a game.
That's a very. Do you like how I like spaced it out, like the scores?
It made it look like a scoreboard, everybody.
Yeah.
Which R.L. Stein does stuff like that, I'm sure.
Fantastic writer.
P.J. Brown had 23 points, 12 rebounds, 3 blocks, and 11 dunks.
11
I want
dunks
to go
in
home.
one
I
game.
said, duh, I made a trail that you can follow. Why burgers? I had some in my pocket. You know I love burgers. Okay, bye. And I put down the phone. I saw burgers, so I went off into the woods. Then I saw a monster that was named Matoy. The man-eating werewolf.
This is where it gets weird.
Matoy took a mouthful of my skin.
Read that line again.
I love this name, Matoy. How all of a sudden you know his name.
That's right.
You're taking this all with such grace. You're like, oh, a werewolf.
Fantastic.
A snake. Oh, now a monster.
There's also a character in the story
Oh,
called
don't spoil it.
named OK. That's his name.
Matoy took a mouthful of my skin. I'm hungry, it yelled. I was cut open on my 2 arms and 1 leg. I got out my pocket knife and killed it. End of chapter 2.
Yeah.
End of chapter.
How are you feeling after 2 chapters? What do you think is gonna happen? Actually, tell me what you think is going on in the story.
Paul is gone. Your friend Paul, from chapter 1 to chapter 2, all of a sudden you're talking to him on a payphone.
Yeah.
You're talking to someone else on a payphone.
Am I?
PJ Brown. Where did he go? Where's Paul? He didn't get eaten, did he?
Matoy's out there, bro.
Matoy, you both were looking at him without a head.
Yeah.
First of all, Matoy didn't have a head during that last
Yeah,
bit.
we met eye to eye when he was headless. It's kind of a surreal.
And now he bit a mouthful of your skin.
Yeah, he ate
On your 2 arms and 1 leg.
2 arms and 1 leg. He,
I'm hungry, it yelled. Oh, man. Phew. Well, let's just go back to chapter 4. This is the last
that's
chapter.
it. Yeah, go for it.
Like in the beginning. So I walked back and tried to find the way back. But I didn't. Paul came back. But he was a ghost. There it is. I did not know what happened. I got killed by a werewolf, Paul said. Could you and get out of here? I said, because I don't remember the way.
Yeah.
What?
I wrote this, everyone.
Question mark, question mark, question mark. Yep. And I got killed by a werewolf named K-Cop. Okay.
K-Cop the werewolf introduced.
Co-Cop.
Co-Cop.
Okay. Okay, then we have to get going.
Mm-hmm.
No pocket knife and a werewolf was right by us. I will kill you so you don't. There's not even a period in the last.
And that's where the story had ended.
Let me just read the last page because it's a blank piece of paper with except for this.
Okay.
These words. The last thing on A Night in Werewolf 2, it's his own piece of paper for like 12 words. It says, knife, and a werewolf was right by us. I will kill you so you don't.
Yeah.
And you got like
So
11 more inches of paper.
Yeah. So that was A Night in Werewolf Woods 2.
And just so anyone missed it, Todd wrote that, everybody.
I wrote that. So that was my first passion as a young chap, is writing.
Writing, but you introduced all your other passions in there as well. Goosebumps and basketball.
Basketball at the time was a big passion. Sci-fi at the time. I actually.
Pocket knives? Did you have a pocket knife when you were younger?
I know. That's why I put it in there, because it was an
It would be
edgy
cool.
thing, right?
It would be cool to have
'Cause
one.
all the public school kids had one, and I went to Catholic school. So, see, as a kid in Catholic school, I thought that all public school kids had one, and I was just like, yeah, public school kids.
Pocket knife. They kill werewolves all the time.
Yeah.
I
So,
want to do that.
so that right there is something I did under the age of 10, and unfortunately for Jake, that means that I had broke the plane. I have 53 points to his 47.
Yeah, by farce, but you did win.
By farce,
But I did bring in this one tape roll.
he does have a tape roll, so that's 50 points. See,
So I hit 50 even.
okay,
If we were doing that, it would be 50 points dead on.
dead on.
So that was a good game.
Good
You
game.
did take it because this is the last thing that I have.
Okay.
This is the last thing that I have today.
Uh-huh.
So that's that, and that's pretty much it.
So we have 53 points to 50 points.
50 versus 53. Those of you that don't know, the manager is giving us weird looks and wiping tables right next to us. But other than that, we're doing fine with the scavenger
She
hunt.
was right, but yes, it felt so weird. But
Now we're back.
I'm gonna say bye to my relatives. So, what I will give you in the
I'm
meantime.
gonna start reading.
This is a sci-fi one.
Okay, slicing up freshness. Arby's. Slicing up freshness.
We're doing our
This
podcast.
next one is mantles versus earthers.
We're gonna go to Rita's.
Okay.
Hi, my name
I'll
is
be
King
back.
T, Earther. And boy, do I have a story to tell you.
Is that fine?
First, the cast of this story is the good guys.
Oh, good. Yes.
Brandon Hostin equals question mark. Charlie Resnick equals Mad Dog.
Yeah, I'll be over.
Rafana Donaldson, King Mantle. Zach Bird, Low King Mantle. Low King Mantle, Zach Bird. I recognize some of these names. These are maybe, I think, kids that Todd went to Catholic school with, or just that he knew early on. This one is not typed. This is handwritten, and I think Todd's handwriting as an 8-year-old is actually better than his handwriting now. It's more legible. First, I ruled the
Okay,
whole
I'm back.
planet, but one place. The
So did you
United
introduce
States.
this? Did you introduce what you're doing?
I just did the whole thing. And you
This
just
is-
came back, and you're
okay.
just right in the middle of
Well,
it.
this is for those of you, he probably gave it a bad introduction. This is Mantles versus Earthers. This was my sci-fi epic that actually, there's a Mantles versus Earthers 2 if you're involved with this one. And at the time, I put my friends that I knew, that I hung out with,
We went over this
in
too.
the story.
We went over
and,
that.
So that was that.
You'll see that in post. Your error. You
Mm-hmm.
have no faith. First, well, where should I start? Well, we just learned that King, the main character, who's written in first person,
King T. Mantle.
King T. Earther,
Earther. That was the
Right.
villain.
he ruled the planet, but just one place, the United States. Wait, I forgot to tell you the bad guys. Deepco, second hired hand, the bad guys. Zobo equals my hired hand. 60 million robots. They kill people. Myself, King T versus Earthers.
This is what I've written.
This is a lot. This is a lot longer than the other one.
Yeah, we could save that for next. I just wanted to introduce that as my sci-fi
So that's-
epic. That was my first sci-fi.
So 60 million robots. That's a lot.
Yeah, I played the lead villain, as you could probably assume.
Yeah.
King T. Earther.
So you were a heel right from
yeah,
even
right
your
from the
writing
get-go.
days.
Yeah, I never put
I
myself
actually
as
said
a
Todd,
hero.
that your writing here as an 8 or 9 projected 8 or 9-year-old is better than your writing now. it's I
Yeah.
can actually read it.
Yeah,
You're writing
unlike
now.
now.
I can't. I don't think.
Uh-huh.
Your penmanship on the penmanship sample. This is
Yeah.
a great. My dad would love this.
Okay.
This is a great penmanship sample.
Jake's dad, if you're listening, as you traditionally do,
This is a handwritten story.
we have a penmanship sample for you, sir, and we might have to take a look at it. But we'll save that. But I brought that in actually just to see if I needed something else. And just very quickly, I also have, for the scavenger
I
hunt,
did know this one.
a Pinewood Derby car because I was in Boy Scouts, the Grand Prix Pinewood Derby, and I brought this in because for those of you who watched wrestling in the 90s, you remember the NWO. It's an NWO Pinewood Derby Boy Scout car that I made myself.
It's pretty good. It looks pretty aerodynamic. You could have you could have shed some weight there in the back tail section, but
Yeah, but I think I did. There's drill holes at the bottom here. So I have Pinewood Derby car. That's the noise you hear. And
you
it comes
wouldn't
with a
want to
ribbon.
you wouldn't want to scoot it across the Arby's floor, would you?
Yeah, I will.
Ah, that's not bad.
Arby slicing up freshness from White Oak. Again, you could try our snack and save menu.
13 items,
13
$2.99
items.
and less.
$2.99.
Another happy customer ringing that bell.
From Arby's. We are great that they had asked us to be a part of them today. So we will put this up, and as you'll see, 96. In 96, I think I was. How old was I? In 96.
You would have been 8
8. Okay, so this does qualify
because you're
too.
2 years older than I, and I would have been 6.
So that means
Very good. It's good that you left all these. You're acing the whole.
the kids.
You're acing the whole
which
18 points for the
for
very
those of
last
new
week.
listeners we call fans of the show are kids. So kids, the end of our first ongoing bit here, the scavenger hunt, I have won the scavenger hunt.
That means you get your own episode.
I get my own
And
episode.
really, I'm feeling cheated because we just did a whole WrestleMania thing. And
Right.
that's a whole episode.
Right, which I will gladly just sweep under the carpet. But so next week,
right.
without any prior knowledge, I will have my own episode, introduce it to Jake. And I did think of it maybe last week or the week before, but I will say this. I'll be honest, it's a game that you're going to play. And I think...
Is it physical?
No.
Do I have to accomplish physical tasks?
No.
That's good.
No. So it'll be a fun game, and there will be a winner and a loser. I'll say that. There will be a winner and there'll be a loser. So next week, you guys check out the scavenger hunt finals.
Well, good game. Let's shake on it.
Yes, shake on it. You know?
Oh, good.
I wish my sister was still here to take a picture of the shake. Speaking of shakes...
Can we ask someone?
No.
Please?
You want a picture?
Do you think they'd be... Well,
I'm not going to.
next time someone
Okay.
comes close, we'll get a picture.
Yeah.
I want to introduce...
Speaking of shakes, did you have any of the new shakes here at Arby's?
I know they have a Jamocha shake that people just,
The mint chocolate shake.
Andy's Candy's mint chocolate shake.
Andy's Candy's mint chocolate shake. You could get at any of your local Arby's for, under $3, I assume. It's not right in front of me, folks, but it's under $3.
Very cold, very milkshakey.
Mm-hmm.
Check those out. Mighty Minis, still my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, a friend of ours
Mm-hmm.
was sort of sad to hear that the scavenger hunt was wrapping up this week. In any fashion, just they like the whole idea. So I think another fan actually submitted a listener. They wanted us to do a listener scavenger hunt.
Yes, Lulu.
So we'll present items
Mm-hmm.
and then challenge our listeners to go find these
Lulu
items.
from California. Thank you for all your contributions to the show so far, and we were closely considering that. And there's also something she mentioned is she wanted to hear the Seams.
Well, the Seams are a local Steeltown folk band right out of McKeesport, Pennsylvania. We all sort of grew up together. My brother Shondor is actually in the band as well. Most of the band members in the Seams are actually his friends who've now, I'd like to think, are now my friends. Or I definitely know that they're definitely my friends too. Good guys and a gal as well. Great people. So we do Steeltown folk. We do blues, rock, Americana. Our kind of idea is we're going for an old feel, but breathing new life into sort of old songs. So we look for public domain songs, and if you don't know what public domain is, public domain are just songs that are over, I think it's 100 years old, and there's no worry about copyright infringement after 100 years. It becomes public domain, so anyone can use them without fear of, getting reprimanded or slammed with fees, anything like that. So it's open to the public, and we kind of breathe new life into those old songs. I think Springsteen did one. It's called Erie Canal. We have a lot of fun with that. Huddy Leadbelly, very popular, excellent 12-string guitar player. Did a lot of work. Basically when the phonograph recording mechanism, which is one of the first recording devices ever made, he kind of popularized that. I'd say he's actually probably one of the first solo acts to ever get recorded extensively, and I don't know that. I'm sure Robert Johnson was right up there with him as well. But we'd play old tunes, breathe new life into them. This next one up is called 119 to Blairsville. It's actually relates to Pennsylvania landscape. And Todd's not back yet, but we have another happy Arby's customer slicing up Freshness. Here's the Seams with 119 to Blairsville.
Train to Carolina, north or south below. I'm not trying to find a mansion, the place my roots are. And I must go find my home in a place I do not know. Now we'll ride, now we'll roam. And I finally found my home. On the train west to Chicago, the wind it whips and spins, and I sing praise to you, White City, but your eyes it tears and rings. So I will go and I sing what it is I do not know, but I will ride and I will roam till I finally find my own. Turn to Pennsylvania, and that's where I'll stake my claim. Where the stones recall my shadow, and the trees whisper my name. And I will go at last you home. Where it is I do not know. And I will ride and I will roam till I finally found my home. No, I found my home in a place I've always known. No ride, oh no more roam. Till I finally found my home.
Okay. Well, that was The Seams. 119 to Blairsville. Good, nice.
And that was Jake's band, and that's he's the as a lot of our listeners
guess I didn't-
requested.
Yeah. A couple.
A couple
The
listeners
first
wanted
musical
to hear.
guest, and I'm proud to be a part of that.
Yeah.
Actually, I neglected to mention that was me on trumpet. Yeah.
So that was him on trumpet, and that was our first Is That Your Song? Artist Spotlight. So if your band wants to be on Is That Your Kid podcast, send that to isthatyourkid@yahoo.com. We'd be happy to put you on, and if you want to put a little write-up in it, we'd be glad to put that in there as well.
Very cool.
Now, something we asked of last week is pictures of Jake's dog, Tails.
Could not be happier with what we got.
We've got some pretty impressive submissions. We've liked the ones we saw so far. We've got about a handful so far, and each one of them is fantastic.
Better maybe than
Better
anything I could have hoped for.
So far, what we have here is fantastic, and we're gonna actually leave this open for another week. So next week,
I want to leave it open forever.
I
want them always to come in.
Okay.
And if we get 3 more, I'll take more bad pictures of my dog.
Okay, that's fair. That's a fair thing. So, if you'd like to submit pictures of Jake's dog Tails, up on our Tumblr now. Is that yourtumblr.com?
Is that
What?
Is that your tumblr.com?
Oh.
That's awesome. Is that your kid?
I can't-
.tumblr.com.
Is that your kid.tumblr.com? I messed up our name in some
Is
form.
that your Tumblr?
Is-
I
Is
love that. That's great.
Is that your kid.tumblr.com? There is about 9 pictures of Jake's dog, and we've been asking
Good and bad.
We've been asking the kids out there to download them, manipulate them in any fashion, submit them back in, and just do whatever you want.
Make it nice, make it awful.
Make it nice, make it awful, and so far you've all made some pretty off-the-wall stuff.
Well, special thanks to Val
Val from
and
Texas.
Lulu and Lisa.
Lisa,
from
yeah.
Pennsylvania.
Elisa from Pennsylvania, Valerie from Texas, and also Lulu from California. We took a look at your submissions. We love them, and we will post them up on the Tumblr probably next week after we get a couple other ones. I know Royce wanted to send one in to us.
Okay.
Royce from the Bay Area.
Shout out to Royce.
So
Bring it in.
We're going to get more of those. So in depth next week, we will take a look at those. But again, you can reach us at isthatyourkid@yahoo.com, isthatyourkid.tumblr.com. Twitter has been, we've gotten some hits on Twitter this week. We're kind of
at Is That Your Kid?
At Is That Your Kid on Twitter. And also subscribe on iTunes. Imagine this. Say you listen to the podcast, you like it, you share it with one friend, you tell them to share it with one friend. That's 3 people right there,
That's
including
good.
yourself.
Yeah.
So that's fantastic. So subscribe, review, download, share, and we'll be back next week with my episode, I guess,
With your
from the
episode.
scavenger hunt. So this has been Todd and Jake live from Arby slicing up freshness. I hope you got through this podcast. I hope there was some atmosphere in the back where you heard the music overhead.
Bob
Because
FM. Shout out to Bob FM.
Shout out to Bob FM. So Jake, I will let you send it out this week.
This week, I want to thank everyone just for listening in general. For those of you listening, those of you trying to be a part of this community, weird community that we're making here, thank you for sending in submissions. Thanks for the fan art. Yeah, okay, keep it going. Well, everyone, we'll see you next week after I successfully predict every single WrestleMania match. So, we'll see you next week.
All right, see you everybody. Take care.
You think that Pearl Harbor was a surprise? This is going to be a much bigger surprise.